if you fill that cup and it starts running over, you can wait for the cup to go all the way down and be empty and then fill it again. Or you can figure out how to turn on a faucet that keeps it constantly flowing.
Fountain.
Exactly, a fountain. Welcome to Heart and Head Work, the podcast for women who want to lead with strategy and soul.
I'm Tessa, the people connector who embraces vulnerability and dreams big.
And I'm Rocky, the strategist who thrives on logic and turns vision into action.
We combined our superpowers and founded Maven, a community that empowers women.
Including Maven District, the largest collective of women-owned small businesses in the world.
This podcast is for women like you, building something real and wanting more than just business advice.
You'll hear honest conversations, practical tools, and personal stories about what it actually takes to build purpose-driven businesses.
If you're building with your whole self, heart and head, this is a space for you.
Join us on the journey.
What's up, Rocky?
What up, yo?
Aw, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for always showing up.
Here.
We're still here. Wiggles. Wiggles is our little fingers wiggling together.
How you doing today?
I am doing great. Yeah, I feel really, well, I need the emotions wheel to name it, but it feels thumbs up.
Good.
Happy.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm in a happy mood. How about you?
Well, no surprise. I have many emotions. A present,
Two things can be true.
but calm is one of them.
Mm.
Excited for today. And then there's just this little one in the back that's a little anxiety.
About the podcast or something
No.
else?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see if it comes out in the podcast.
Foreshadowing.
All right. Well, here is us again. Thank you for joining us. Rocky, I have something to kick us off since I know how much you like nature.
Hit me with it.
What is
Hit
your
me.
most recent aha or lesson you found in nature?
God, great question. Okay. Gianni and I live in the wilderness, the old husband, and we often get owls that nest in our trees. We've had probably, if I remember correctly, 6 to 7 baby owls born in this one particular tree, because what's interesting is owls don't build a nest. They find cavernous areas or reuse other birds' nests. So we were watching the owls because we have a scope set up and we like to, bird watch them. This is how you know we're old. And we saw these stellar blue jays, which are these really big blue birds, squawking above, below, and everywhere they could get around the nest, because they ultimately want to irritate the owl enough to leave so that they can eat the eggs. We're pretty sure a couple years ago that this happened. And I get really stressed out when I watch this, even though I know I can't control nature, but I feel the stress of,
You want the baby owls.
I want the baby owls.
It's your 5th round of them or 4th round of them,
5th
right?
round of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love watching them learn to fly, and I love watching them just experience the world.
She names her
name
baby
them.
owls.
Yeah, there's Archimedes. We've got, last year we had Oscar. We've had Rupus, Cornelius.
These are all perfect owl names, I must say.
I thought they were excellent.
I know it's a talent.
I name all of the animals on my property. And what I thought was really cool is that they have to sit there. This mom owl had to sit there and just take this obnoxious squawking from all directions for 5 to 10 minutes. And it was making me feel agitated. So I can only imagine what, owls don't have the same types of feelings, but it's probably really annoying. The resolve that owl had to have to know its purpose, to just weather the storm and not allow this intense outside activity that it can't control. Because if it chose to try to control it, it would create vulnerability for its young. It just had to just sit there and just freaking take it.
Wow.
And that was my big, you can't
shut out the
stop.
noise.
Yeah, you can't stop the noise. So the only way you can do anything about it is just to keep your eye on the prize of what your purpose is, and everything else will fall away because you'll weather the storm. Even it's not easy doing any of that stuff, but it was just the redundancy and the intensity, and there's nothing you can do. Kind of like what we were talking about in the last episode, what you can and can't control. You can't control that annoying bird, but you can control the outcome of being able, to watch your babies hatch. And that's the purpose.
Nature is our teacher.
God, I love
That's why we kicked it off this way.
Give me yours.
Mine has been over the weekend, and something I've been toying with is, what's next? What am I supposed to be doing in this phase? There's a lot that has shifted for me, and I have been looking to nature, to my ancestors, to my journal, to other people that have gone through it, to friends, to family. What should I be doing? And the lesson that came out for me that just hit me like a ton of bricks. This is from, kicked off with Melody Beattie, who is one of my most faves, Lessons of the Heart, I want to say this book is called. And she reads, I often wake up and read a sample or a paragraph of her book. There's one quote for each day. And in this one was something to the effect of, the moon never worries, it is going to rise. And the flowers don't need a reminder onto when they're going to bloom. So can we put down the worry and just trust that what's going to happen will happen, and know that there are other forces at play, and this idea of let go of the worry, it's all going to work out. Because nature does not sit and worry about, right now on our hillsides, on our trails right now, the sunflowers are just popping.
Oh yeah, now's the time.
Now is the time. And they don't worry about being late or early or on time. They just bloom. And that was such an amazing reminder as I then went on a morning hike and started watching the blooms sway in the wind on top of the mountainside. I usually take a break and do some breath at the top of a mountain. And that was a lesson of like, put it all down. It's all going to work itself out. And blooms don't need a reminder on when to bloom or worry about being wrong. They just are. And it just works itself out. So that's mine.
That's a great lesson in presence, that nature is never thinking. They might be planning for the future, but they're never thinking in the past, and they're never thinking in the future. They are literally just always present. And we have a tendency to think futuristically, which creates anxiety, or we think historically, and that creates depression. And animals are just in what they're in, and they are who they are. And it's so simple, which is probably why we get so many great lessons from it, because it's not this hugely complicated thing. It's just the owls are protecting their young. The flowers are blooming. Period. End of.
That's it.
End of
That's
story.
It. So let that shit go, So
let that shit go.
I don't know. That was mine. And this falls so closely into what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Hit me with it once again.
We are going to be talking today about putting your own oxygen mask on first before you help other people.
That's so selfish.
I feel so guilty. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's actually how you can help serve others more.
The truth. This is truth.
This is
particularly hard truth for a lot of women, because I think culturally we learn that our job, our primary objective as a mom owl, as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, our job is to take care of the family. And that is it's not to say that it's not a job of ours, but it's the job we are told to have. And that's not taking care of yourself first.
It's not. And I experience it over and over and over, being in wellness on the Maven Strong side of things and watching people over 10,000 hours, going after their wellness and learning and recovering from injuries, or just trying to find consistency in their own habits. What I notice over and over and over again, there is a big tendency in type A women that want to quote unquote like do and take over the world so much that they feel guiltiness so hard when they put themselves first.
Yeah.
And so it's this, I want to talk about it. I want us to unpack it. It's something that you and I really, really align on, and we tackle different ways, but we really, I want to like peel off this cloak off of it and really nail why it is not selfish to take care of yourself first.
And I actually suck at this in a lot of ways. This is something I constantly struggle with. My initial programming is what I mentioned earlier. It is, do not put yourself first. Be a martyr. Make sure that other people are taken care of. Then you can take care of yourself. The idea of like serving others entirely, and that being the way. And I am living proof that if you do it that way, you burn out. Because I love the oxygen analogy. I also have a cup analogy or a fountain analogy that when I hit burnout or when I go too much, I get totally depleted. And if you're not filling that cup up, well, then you don't have anything to give. So you're giving from a dry cup, and what you're giving is less than what you could give. I mean, don't you want to provide, if you're going to serve somebody, the absolute highest version of yourself you can? I do, because that version's fucking rad.
But you certainly can't if you don't feel good yourself. So if you have not taken care of yourself, it is really, really hard. If you were trying to, like a lot of us might be going after, of like creating impact, making the world better, or supporting our people, whether it's our family, our friends, our people we work with. That's like my most, it's my highest like driver and what I want in life. And that is impossible to do with an empty cup.
Totally. And this is why, for those of you who have not heard this yet, because I'm not sure we've said it yet, our ethos at Maven, which is different than our mission, our vision, and our values, is our overarching theory about how we approach everything that we do. So how do you make the mission real? How do you turn that dream into a reality? You have to use this ethos throughout anything as high as that to as little as you have to do a task. And our ethos is self. Once you fill and give yourself what you need, then your next job is to give it to other people. And what's beautiful about that is if you give it to one person and that person focuses on themselves, turns around and gives it to somebody else, that person fills their own cup, gives it to somebody else. We start this exponential growth and expansion of the best versions of ourselves, and that's the community. So it goes from self to others to the larger group of others, which is community. And
this is what women do so well.
I would say that women tend to be,
when we drop into that space.
We tend to be really good at this, because I think the second piece, like I said, is really easy for everybody. To give to others for women is, the nurturing component of what might be encoded in our DNA and so forth. But I think you do an excellent job of this. And I know that you have been told in the past, it's selfish of you to do this, and you're a mother. And I would love to hear, how do you do this? How do you go about it?
I mean, I think I agree. I do actually think this is one of my lessons I learned as a really young kid. I think, I grew up with an entrepreneur mom who was shuttling 3 kids in 3 different schools with 3 different sets of sports and after school activities. And as I became a serious athlete, I started recognizing that when I moved, I felt less crazy.
I think movement is like, for a lot of people, the entry into self-care.
Yes.
Because your body is this obvious response system to it. So it's an easy metric to measure.
It's a great I would call it a gateway drug. Yeah. It's a great gateway drug. And
hey kids, do drugs. Please, let's do drugs because you gotta move. Yeah. I support it.
And I think I noticed that from a really early age. And so as I started battling, anxiety and depression in my late teens and early 20s, that's where I turned. And that was my very first recognition of like, wow, if I move, I feel less intensity in those difficult emotions. And it doesn't necessarily take them away, but it's a big piece of it.
Like it lets you sit in it easier.
Yeah, it just like softens the edges.
Yeah,
I
I
would
like
say. Like I moved this morning. I got to do one of my favorites where I hike and I'm with a friend. So I'm also connecting, which is another one of my secret sauces. And then I got to sit at the top and breathe and look at the wildflowers. And I left with a bit of a pit in my stomach. And so I don't always know like exactly where that's stemming from, but sitting up top gives me some space to let those feelings marinate. The sweat gets my endorphins and my hormones working in the right direction. And then the connection makes me feel less alone.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a threefer, if you will. And it didn't entirely, quote unquote, like get rid of all the hard things or like the full pit in my stomach. It's still a little bit there. But for the most part, it got me to a space where I don't feel like I need to come in to my work or my family after that and dump it all on them. So I think one of our jobs as humans is to caretake yourself and not put it on other people. And it doesn't mean I don't still use connection for some of that, but that's not my primary, right? So I kind of think about this in a couple different ways. I want every person that's going after this to experiment on themselves and come up with ways in which that makes the most sense for them in the most efficient way possible, because we all get too busy to be able to do everything.
Try all the drugs.
Try all the ways that make you feel more calm, more content. What are those ways, right? And or maybe it's joy. Joy is a moment. It's not necessarily like a long emotion for most people. So that can get us there, but it's impossible to think that we're going to be quote unquote happy forever. So there's a really hard time in my life way back when I was trying to get pregnant and was going through some postpartum after a miscarriage, that I came across a book that was just life-changing for me. And it was called Gretchen Rubin's Happiness Toolbox.
Oh yeah. You've mentioned this one. I've read it also. Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if that's the name of the book. Now that I'm thinking about it.
It's something about the 5 senses of happiness.
It is something.
Yeah.
Now, however, I dubbed it the Happiness Toolbox Experiment because what I did in that, she suggests you experimenting with yourself on what will bring you more calm, joy, happiness, the feelings you want to promote, and calm down and get yourself into a space that you can face the day, like build your armor. And in this, that is where I really developed my morning routine on things that really, really bring me like great calm in the morning. And that is where I encourage people to play around with, right? And I say morning because that's the one that is the strongest for me. It's the only part of the day I can control. I can usually control the morning, and I can sometimes control how I go to bed. But there's also a big mess of other things at bedtime. So my bedtime routine is a little more flex. But in the morning, mine is really, really dialed. And I'm always kind of like nudging it and playing with it. But whether I'm traveling or I'm home, it's pretty much the same. I wake up, have some breath work. And seriously, it might be I read a passage of a poem and I breathe for 30 seconds to 5 minutes. I get up, do a little bit of maybe some tea, and then I start thinking about my workout. And I'm noticing this is where the ticket analogy that you've heard me talk about, Rocky,
absolutely
comes into play.
Yeah, you'll tell me. I don't have any tickets for you right now.
Yeah. And you know what? Yesterday you saw me be maxed out on tickets.
Yep.
I had a crash.
Yeah, explain this ticket thing.
The ticket thing is interesting, and it came out of recovering from a brain injury, which was a whole thing in itself. But the idea of tickets is we wake up every day with a certain amount of energy. and you have a really interesting way of talking about this, so I want to get your take on it too, Rocky, but a certain amount of energy. And I equate that to tickets. Or you can do percentages, or you can do like
I love
dollars.
this because I think of Chuck E. Cheese.
You can,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of
Childhood
ways you
joy
can
right
do
there.
it. And when I wake up, I will judge my tickets. How many tickets do I have? Do I have 10 tickets, or do I only have 5 tickets? Or do I have one ticket, and that means I might be getting sick, or my brain might be in a total mushy space, and I actually need to cancel my entire day. So this 10 ticket analogy, or not 10 ticket analogy, is everything you do takes a ticket. And some of those take minimal, or some of those will even refill your tickets. Like sometimes if I meditate in the middle of the day, I can gain back a ticket to make it through the rest of the day.
Now I'm just thinking of different 80s things and 90s things. I'm thinking of Super Mario, where you get like the recharge.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, whatever works for you.
Life.
Yeah. Whatever works for you. So I think about, before I start my workout, I think about how many tickets do I have? If my plan the night before is to wake up and do a big mountain bike, that takes a ton of tickets for me, because it's so much going on with your brain. You're going over rocks. You're playing, I might be trying to keep up with someone, so then I'm going maybe harder than I typically could go to. If I wake up with only 5 tickets and I have a bike ride plan, I immediately cancel the bike ride.
Ooh, you know how much I love already
Canceling
the fact
plans.
that you are like canceling plans. You have permission. This is your greater voice speaking to you. You have permission to cancel plans.
Yeah. And I change it to my workout is, I still am going to move. I'm going to probably do some stretchy mobility stuff on some spiky balls or foam rollers. And then maybe I'll just take the dogs on a little walk around. I have a flat meadow close to my house, so maybe I'll just do that. And that is enough for me. But I'm still achieving what I'm looking for. The movement still happens, and I'm still taking time to think about how many tickets I have. And I'm still settling my day. At no point of this point have I looked at email, and I probably have not texted anyone back, because I really want my brain to stay in a space of taking care of myself and not letting the world, definitely have not looked at news either, letting the world take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hearing so many important things out of this. One of them being learning how many tickets you have and what different things through self-experimentation, how many each of those little things take or give is like a key component to this structure. Because obviously you've been using this for a long time. So the question would be, how do you get to using the same technique? And I'm hearing through the self-experimentation, I can identify how many tickets each thing requires. That's an important quantifier. And you're giving yourself permission to wake up every morning with a different level of tickets. And so being able to understand what do I feel ticket wise, and not being guilt ridden or ashamed that it is not 12 like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It's only 1. And then I also heard that you have non-negotiables, things that you will prioritize first for yourself that you'll do no matter what, i.e. choosing the movement over canceling plans with the mountain bike scenario, to make sure that you're filling and keeping that ticket quota.
Yeah. The non-negotiables are important for everyone to find out that's going to do the self-experimentation. Like, what always works? For me, 100% of the time, movement does something to shift my mood.
Yeah, you've determined that's a great
for me
ticket recharger.
It doesn't mean for you. Some people might say a bubble bath. Some people may say a journal session. Some people may say
beating the shit out of a boxing bag,
boxing,
or a face,
running. Like, I don't care what it is, but find yours.
Yeah.
Right. So find that non-negotiable. And then I have some other ones like, okay, so meditation for me is in that all the time. And it is going to, it's going to shrink or grow depending on how much time I have. But then there's other things that are in these secondary spaces that if I'm in a really hard spot, I may go back to, like journaling. As much as I want to be an everyday journaler, I'm not quite there. But it's somewhere I go if I really need it. So it's in almost like my second tier category. if that makes sense. And then, also like with therapy, and then connection would be in there too. So like I'm almost like, when I was doing this, I was ranking what caused or brought me either contentment, joy, whatever the shifting of emotions that you're looking for. And there would be things like, one of the suggestions was like, put your clothes out the night before to save you time in the morning. And I did that I did that for like 2 weeks. And I was like, that literally does not shift anything for me. And I hate it. So I dropped it.
Yep.
It does not move the needle for me. But other people are like, oh, I feel so organized. That helps me out so much to feel less stressed in the morning. This is for you. And so yours is going to look a little different. I used to call this your happiness toolbox, but now I think contentment is where it's at. But build your own. What does it look like?
I think this is great. I mean,
it's not that different from yours, but you have a different approach to it, and you've tailored it differently. Can you share?
Well, so as an Enneagram 5, someone who believes, if you follow Enneagrams at all, it was a great resource for me to learn more about myself. It is not the definition of yourself, so I think that's important to keep in mind. But it explained to me that I view things as resources, and I am a resource guarder. And this is why my dog has resource guarding issues. I work from a place of scarcity oftentimes, and one of the big ones for me is time. I have this belief that I have limited time. That really means I have limited energy. So I worked from a space of like, I have this many tickets, if you will, for a really long time. And I heard so many different versions, particularly from The Big Leap by Hendricks. I suck at authors' names and books' names, so we'll have to look that up. And there's this theory of Einstein time that you can actually generate your own time by choosing different priorities. And that shifted. If I have the ability to create more time based on taking control of where I want to put my time, rather than having this idea of, oh, I don't have time for that. The reality is I'm not making time for that, because I will make time for the things I care about. What if I translated that to energy? What if I didn't think about a limited amount of energy and I thought about a limitless amount of energy, which being the idea of a cup, right? If you fill that cup and it starts running over, you can wait for the cup to go all the way down and be empty and then fill it again. Or you can figure out how to turn on a faucet that keeps it constantly flowing.
Fountain.
Exactly, a fountain. And so I started trying to, and I'm not great at this, I'm fresh to it, but the idea of energy balancing. So I categorize things now into a very similar way you do. I call them givers and takers. So things that will take my energy, I need to be aware of and categorize those. And things that will give me energy, like the contentment toolbox idea, that will replenish me, my Mario 1-up life. And what I'm doing throughout the day is trying to keep that faucet going. And by doing that, it's constantly recognizing, am I in an energy exchange right now? Is it taking or giving? Is it taking or giving? And some of my takers are, like you said, the news. Don't listen to it. Don't watch it. I can't handle it.
Or really check yourself when you're going to tap into
that.
Yeah,
no, I can't do that
right?
now. So, yeah. So it's done. It's off. Tech in general, phone, clutter for me is a big one. Thinking about the past, screen time, overworking, dehydration, all of that kind of stuff. Those are all takers. A big one for me is also people that are energy vampires as opposed to energy restorers. I think you learn that through experimentation, what kind of people really lift you up and what kind of people really bring you down. And I love no. No is a full sentence. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And I just get rid of it. Oftentimes I've done it too quickly, but I try to be really, really precise about, no, this doesn't serve me. This doesn't serve me. And I'm also not giving them anything as a result of it. So this is not a good mutual relationship.
But there's also people when they're the right people and you're still exchanging energy, right? Like, I mean, you and I go on a give, and with our team, it's you're even when the energy is correctly being exchanged, you still get tired, right?
Well, yeah, I
Socially,
have
like think
physical
about a party.
limitations. I have physical limitations, and this would be like your categories of what gives you, what makes you the happiest. Mine will still sometimes be like, well, this one's going to take me the most amount of energy, like your mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say no to it so that I can be more present and more connected in the ones I say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, I have to be giving myself energy. So I've done the same self-experimentation. What gives me energy? Nature, movement, breath work, writing, art. I have recently gotten back into art, and I am just in that contentment place. And so I brought like when I was visiting my family, I brought a little watercolor book, and I just every once in a while took a moment to bring it out. And what was really cool about it is I had originally intended for it to be a disconnect from what I was in and to give myself something. And that was the whole purpose. And it actually felt very selfish because I was unfamiliar with it. And it actually brought everybody together because everybody started looking at the watercolor. And I was like, you want a watercolor? And they're like, no. I couldn't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, just going to put this paintbrush right here. I'm just going to put this sheet of paper right here. And I have this great photo of my husband and his nanny, who's 95. And they are painting together next to me. And we're all silent. And we're just painting. So that is an actual evidence of if I do what's something good for me, it actually ran over. Like my cup ran over to these other people and gave them something. And then the second person gave it to the third person. Then we're sitting there as a little community, and our ethos was in action, and it was really, really cool.
And I mean, how present are you in art? It's
100%.
Yeah, it's
like
one
fly
of the
fishing. It's my other big one.
Yeah, go there, right? Is that presence?
Yeah, it's like it's the feeling of being zoned in, where there's no noise around you. You can kind of be slightly aware of things moving, and your senses are on, but you're just in that zone. And so it's finding your flow. Mm-hmm. The true energy givers are the ones that when you're in your flow. And the most important part of all of this for us is the ability to turn it around and give it to our team, because I show up as a better leader. You show up as a better leader, a better business partner, a better person in business when we've done that for ourselves. So I do though want to give my let's quantify this. If I had glasses, I'd push them up. I do have 3 things that I freaking love to do that I don't hear a lot about. One of them is everybody's got a to-do list. I actually have a morning no-do list. No is a full sentence. So it's an intentional list of things I will not do for the day. So one of them being like, I will not
get on Instagram.
I will not get on Instagram. I will not. And it seems like it could be negative, but really it's the guide rails of this is where I'm going to get a lot of energy taken from me. So avoid at all cost because it's not worth it. And then another one I love is as you're going through the day, to your point, we have actual physical energy that is going to be depleted. I like to take 5 minutes after I do any group of work, a work block, and take 5 minutes to do absolutely nothing. I won't go on to the next task until I take that 5 minutes. And it's not something like I have to go pee. It's I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look at my energy givers. So I'm going to go, you did it yesterday really well. Put your face in sunlight for 5 minutes before we continue on with brainstorming. Or I'm going to go outside with the dogs. You'll see a trend. It's all outside. I'm going to put my feet into the grass. I'm going to do 5 minutes.
Or you're going to be.
That's great. Let me write that down. I'm going to be.
Not do.
Going to be. Sit with it. Don't fix it. And the other one is similar to what we were talking about in the Happiness Toolbox, the book name that we keep messing up. The senses that we ignore, like smell, taste. I mean, we're such visual people. We do a lot of auditory too, and even touch. I do an association game with when I'm in a feeling of contentment, which is, I think, way better than happiness as well. I call it peace. That that feeling, if I can associate a smell with it, which for me is my Santal 33. I sound so bougie, but that's the truth. It's one of those luxury items I buy for myself. I started spraying it every time I felt peace. And so my brain has now connected that smell with peace. And so if I'm in a feeling of my energy is being depleted, I need to refresh, I can just spray that and smell it. And I get that moment of joy. And that gives me a little like burst of, again, drugs. Do the drugs. Give myself the upper.
Yeah, find what works for you, right?
Yeah. So those are my three little, I don't even know where I got them. I actually wish I knew, but
they're so good. The point
them.
is like, you get to experiment with yourself, and we want you to experiment with yourself. And some things that that I've noticed over the years is people are building these, I guess we could call them, I don't know what we would call them, tools, rituals, routines.
Yeah.
For all of these, like there's a handful of things that work for a lot of people. So see if any of these land for you. Schedule in your wellness time. I think often when we go back to that type A women who feels guilty to take care of themselves, their wellness time is the first thing that gets cut.
Oh yeah. This is a great, in business, you have this phrase called eat the frog. Again, don't remember the author in the book, but we'll put it in there. Eat the frog. He talks about like, do the hardest thing first, because once it's out of your way, essentially you have all of this energy and capacity to do all the easy stuff. So for women, you're great at this and you put your wellness as the very first thing in the morning. That's now not hard for you because you've created a great habit. But that for a lot would be an eating the frog scenario. But when you do it, boom, like there's the magic that pops out of it.
And I honestly, like one of the reasons I picked morning is I want the effects to hit me for the rest of the day, right? So if I don't do it till night, which, you know, some people are going to have limitations around that, and that's when they get to do it, great. Fit it in wherever you can. But consistency is actually more important than quality. And I think that's a really important one for people, why they're trying to figure out where to put these in, is I want you to just be consistent and don't worry about the quality. You can always play with the quality once you're consistent.
This is also a continuing theme of ours. The belief in small steps are better than no steps.
Yes.
Take little action. So again, you can imagine, oh, I want an entire day where I never get woken up and I'm in a bubble bath and I get to go shopping and I work out.
Get a
and
massage.
This whole beautiful day, which you
That
probably
sounds
should
lovely.
schedule for yourself.
Right.
But that's super high quality that is not consistently available to you versus, well, what if I go outside and put my feet in grass for 5 minutes?
Right.
I can do that every single day. I can do that first thing in the morning before the stack up of other things distracts me or takes me away from it.
Yeah.
And so how do you think, because pat on the back, we are both good at this and or getting better at this. How do you think this shows up for our team and our community? Because as business owners, this is an important element.
It's been so important for us since the beginning. I mean, we have a mural on our building that's our biggest mural that we have. That a woman named Brooke Smart, genius,
beautiful children's illustrator,
genius illustrator. She did, and it is women lifting other women up. And you cannot lift them up until you are there. And that's when you turn around and lift the others up. But this idea of like, you can't do that until you've taken care of yourself. So that's a visual reminder that we see every single day that I think is just, it's like so inherent in our brand.
Yes.
That we've built this into our team, right? So when we're hiring and the culture we're trying to create, we want to make sure that our team, like we're putting the responsibility on them, like, hey, we're going to give you a little flex, but you better show up and be taken care of.
Show up as your best self.
Having taken care of yourself. That is your job. I'm not going to give you flex if you're not going to do that. So we often see our team in our Pilates classes. We'll see them. A bunch of them got together for a boxing class this morning.
I also just saw one who got a rough email, and she brought out her coloring book, and she's like, I just need a second. And that was her way of sorting through before responding to the email, which could have resulted in responding with anger or frustration instead of making sure, I'm going to check myself. Okay. How do I feel? What do I need? Energy giver, little coloring, and then she could give back a much better response.
Yeah. And then what I see over and over again, and I'm sure you have examples of this, is I see our team doing that for each other. So
it's my
not only are we asking them, hey, we want you accountable to this, like go take care of yourself so you can take care of other people. Cause we are asking you to take care of a lot of people, but also they're taking care of each other, and they're also checking in on each other. Hey, I know you've had a big week. How you feeling? Yeah. Do you need a walk? Hey, do you need a coffee? Do you need a place to put it? Or just like, do you need some space? Let's go, cry in a corner. Like that happens all the time, all day long here.
We gave them an assignment last week. And
I saw that.
The assignment was write down for yourself what would help you. And it was cute things like I want someone to take my dog on a walk so I can sleep in, or I need my house cleaned because I can't think, or I need to go get some energy out. And it was really cute to watch all of them. Once we took that sheet of paper, you had to put it in the center, and then someone else chose it. And so then the job was for your coworker, you need to give this to them for the week. That's your actual homework assignment. And I think the beauty that comes out of that is the ripple effect of we're here to be a team. We can all do these things individually, but how do you actually build teamwork? You have to get everybody thinking about what does the other team member need and putting themselves in their shoes.
Yeah. And how to have empathy for what that person, if they come in a crappy mood, maybe there's a little more grace there.
Yeah.
Because they know actually what they're dealing with.
Yep.
Right. And I think that some corporate cultures are not set up this way.
Oh, no, this would be anti-work. This is unacceptable.
Yes. It's like, oh, it's so much time wasting. You guys spend so much time team building, and wow, you guys are doing, you're doing another activity where you guys go outside and share. and I always push back on, I want our people to be mentally healthy and strong and going after goals that they want to go after. And I don't think you can do that when you have a shitty job and a team that doesn't support you.
Yeah. And also as quite literally, whether we ask for it or not, we are mentors as a leader in a business scenario. And I always think about one-on-ones, that the one-on-ones I had as a 20-year-old in the more corporate world was, all right, here's the tasks, and here's the exchange of task information that I need from you, and here's the timelines I'm doing them on. And it never made any sense to me because these seemed like things that you should be doing constantly throughout the day. That is actually your job. So why are you waiting until you have this hour with someone else to spend time there? And we have shifted it into that one-on-one time is not for tasks. It is an opportunity for me as a leader, you as a leader, you guys out there as business leaders. Think about what it would be if you could have a one-on-one with that other person and ask them about what they want in their professional career. What are they trying to shift in their personal life? Because you have resources that typically, being older or being in the position that you're in of owning a business, you have access to more resources than they might have that you can then gift to them. And if you can grow that individual at that level, the work stuff, all that task stuff is going to get better naturally. That's all secondary to that primary. Are you confident in your job? Do you feel clear about your job role? Are you motivated? Are you excited to be doing what you're doing? If they don't have any of that, the tasks are irrelevant. They're going to do I'm an example of this. They're going to do a meh job because they're not really bought into what they're doing.
This is you as your old self.
Back
when you were An employee.
Back when I was an employee, it was like, you know, at some point you hit that wall because it's not meaningful work. And so I think also this ethos of when you're a leader and you have to show up to a one-on-one, if you haven't served yourself first, I can't fully be present and be able to now give a lot of energy to somebody else without having first filled my cup. I need that fountain turned on. So I think it's another way to use it.
Yeah. And this is just like, we're trying to create ripples here, right? Like our team is strong. They go out and every person they interact with, whether it's a guest at our hotel or another employee or a client at our fitness studio or a tenant that rents from us, if they are also taken care of, they then have positive experiences, right?
It all stems from love.
It all goes back to then we can give a good experience and an empathetic experience for the people that experience Maven.
And that creates connection. And then that's how we get the real.
And this is how
growth.
the world becomes better.
This is how the world becomes a better place. Serve yourself first before you serve others. That is not selfish. This
Give
is
us some
key
takeaways, Rocky.
takeaway. Serve yourself first so that you can serve. I am clapping. It is not selfish. To Tessa's point, you got to do some self-experimentation with this. We didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, nature works for me, or fly fishing works for me. You got to take in a bunch of different bits of data and figure out which one fills your cup, which one takes away from your cup. And then also once you have that, it's really good to know, whether it's tickets or whether it's water, the energy in and out, just figure out what works. And I love the non-negotiable thing. Find some things that you must have, because it's a good starting point. It gives you an initial boost. And then also, taking a moment to recognize that you are part of a larger, let's call it consciousness, and that chain reaction or that ripple from you to your team and your community can be a really incredible source of power if you aren't selfish. Take care of yourself, and then bleed it out in the most beautiful way.
And geez, guilt doesn't get you anywhere. Let's not drop that guilt.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have the guilt probably. So sitting in it, naming in it, the things we talked about in the last podcast of reframing it and not letting that control you, because you control your mind, you control your actions. Do something different than what your old habit tells you to do is pretty important.
Yep. And I do believe this levels your team up. So level them up.
Look at us now.
I mean, they came pretty amazing.
Let's
be real.
Our team is beautiful, and they give us just as much as we give them. I think that's also they teach us every moment. Back to mentors are everywhere.
All right. Well, if you can believe it, we've got some questions from the audience. I wanted to know how other people do this because I'm still learning. I learn about this. I tweak it, a handful of times a year. So we wanted to know, what are your favorite ways to serve yourself? Here's what some of them said.
Oh, I can't. Teach me.
Some of them were surprising.
Teach me, baby.
Some sort of craft so I can space out.
Yeah, like the watercolor.
That's delicious.
Just a little bit of creative outlet. I love that.
I do that with my kids on the weekend. It's one of my faves.
Yeah, we always do things like this as kids. Kids hold the answers.
I know.
They are they're untouched by the rest of the world when they're so young, and they do things like, let's just play pretend.
Yeah, it's nice. Create a Pinterest or music playlist that encompasses how I'm feeling at the moment. Yeah.
That's like the five senses. Identify something, get that association, like the Santal 33.
And then you can totally gift that music playlist to me. That's one of my favorite things to receive.
I love that idea. Yeah, share us.
Yeah, share your playlist with us. We'll play it.
I will play it.
I'll probably work out to it. I'll probably teach a class to it.
I wouldn't mind some Black Alicia's on there.
I'm really into contemporary classical music right now.
Oh,
a little different.
That's very classic. Classic 90s.
Okay.
I don't actually
All right,
know.
I feel like you know.
Oh, thanks.
Here's one that I know you're going to agree to. Saying no to plans that I don't want to go to.
Fuck yeah, no is a full sentence. You don't, also, to alleviate the guilt, you don't have to explain why you're not going. You can just say, no, I'm not going to go.
Yep.
Leave them wondering.
Yeah.
You can't control it.
It's not you don't know it.
Man, these listeners are super, super good at this.
Okay, this one relates a lot to our ticket analogy, I think. Picture myself as an hourglass that only has a limited amount of sound inside. How do I want to spend it so I'm not running on empty by 12 p.m.?
Firstly, who's up at 12 p.m.? Go to bed at 8. Less hours.
No.
Well, wait. 12 p.m. is noon. Here's the head worker over here. Knowing my time zones is why I use 24 hours.
There you go. Okay. By lunch. How about that?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you don't want to run out of energy by lunch.
Mm-hmm. But it's common. Yeah. Wired but tired is a big thing that everyone's talking about right now. And
wired but tired.
Women's health. It's a big thing.
Overstimulated and tired. Yeah.
We'll talk more about that. All right, y'all.
That's it.
Thank you.
Damn.
We're so glad that you're here with us today. I love doing this.
I do too.
I know. It's pretty fun.
It's getting more fun. I feel less anxious.
You're less stressed about it, less sweaty.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think our team is crushing how we go about doing this, but also just.
And it's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice experimentation.
Yes.
We're playing around with a lot of things. It's super creative.
The more vulnerable you are, the easier it gets.
Oh, man. Who's been saying that to you?
I know. That's why I'm saying it here, so you have public credit.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you again. We hope you got something out of this conversation. What we really want from you is to tell us what else works for you and what else do you want to hear and who else should we interview. Let us know how you fill your cup. Reach out to us on our Geneva community, or we're also on Instagram at maven.community. We really, really want to hear from you.
Yeah,
So
you guys already had
let us know.
Freaking great ideas. I need more of these.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in it together, learning.
Yep, I'm going to experiment with more crafts at the moment. And send us your playlist.
Oh, I actually started an art class on Wednesday at Art House.
Okay.
I'm really excited. 4 weeks.
That's
more
cool.
crafts.
That's it. That goes back to scheduling in your wellness time.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Love you, partner.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.